Start your business for the freedom of time. Now you're tired of the hustle and grind. There's gotta be a better way. It's time to listen to Chill and Prosper. Welcome to Chill and Prosper. You're ready to chill and prosper with Denise Duffield-Thomas.
Hi everybody, hi, it's Denise here and welcome to our latest episode of Chill and Prosper. And today is an episode where we're talking about fear and when you're feeling really scared in your business and what to do to snap out of that. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I get scared in business all the time too. This is just a normal part of being in business. Sorry, I've got this like little curl right in the middle of my forehead. It reminds me of when I was a kid. My mum used to say that poem and she'd say, there once was a girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. When she was good, she was very, very good. And when she was bad, she was horrid. And it stuck in my head, but there's literally this little curl that's like right in my face. So as I'm saying this, anyway, I've been scared about so many things in my life, anytime I've done anything new. And actually, when I was younger, I had a massive fear of public speaking, like massive fear about it. And I was on the debate team and I would just feel sick every time I had to speak. But it wasn't even just speaking on stage. If I was, at McDonald's and I had to order something, I'd be in the line and I'd be mentally rehearsing, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? So I am very intimate with fear. And there's been different times in my life where things have been easier and I haven't felt, scared about different things, but it still comes up all of the time. And so I think it's a really great thing for us to talk about, because the other thing I've been saying the last couple of years to people is absence of fear is not our goal. Absence of fear is not the goal at all. We're not trying to get you to a place where you never feel discomfort, you never feel fear, you're never scared about doing things in your business. We're just trying to get you to a place where it's like you can acknowledge that you're scared about stuff and you move forward in whatever way feels good to you. I'm also of the belief nowadays that if something does feel too hard, sometimes maybe that is a sign it's not your path. So what we're trying to look for is something that feels like scary but expansive. And this is exactly how I felt when I joined that debate team at school. I remember my teacher saying, if you're really scared about it, like maybe don't be on the team. And I was like, no, I feel like I've got to do this. I really do. I feel motivated to do it. I feel like I have to do it. I just feel absolutely sick about it. And that's when he knew, okay, well, it is worth pushing her through this. If I was literally like holding onto the door frame on the way to the debate club, you'd just go, you know what, maybe that's not for you. And I'm trying to learn the difference in my business to go, you know what, it's just not what I want to do right now. And a really good example of that actually is just before we went on our big 4 months travel overseas with our family, I'd committed to writing a new book. And it wasn't a book with Hay House. It wasn't a business book. It was more of a personal project. I didn't have a contract for it. It was just something that I was just doing. And I was working with someone one-on-one. And each week I was like, God, this is hard, but also I'm so freaking busy right now. And I said to him, after working together for a couple of months, I said, look, I know I'm not going to hit this deadline. And I just want to put this aside. And I said, I've had a lot of thought about it. Yes, I'm fearful. And yes, it's scary doing this project. But actually, I know that I could push through and do it and try and do it before we leave on this trip. And I'll be exhausted when I get on the plane. I know I can do it, but I'm actually choosing not to. And I said, I don't want you to think I'm one of those authors that just goes, and just like, it's such a flake. And he's like, no, I can hear this in your voice. You're just a busy, successful person and you've just decided to put it aside. And that felt like a really amazing graduation for me to go, oh, I can discern the difference here. And I'm choosing not that I'm too scared for it. Okay, so how do you know the difference? And I think sometimes it's those ideas that keep on coming up again and again and again for you that you go, wow, the idea of writing a book scares me. The idea of running a retreat or speaking on stage scares me, but I still want to do it. That's when you know, okay, all right, I'm going to push through it, or I'm going to find different ways to make it less scary. So that's what we can talk about today. Now, the other thing that I want you to take away from this is sometimes what scares you today won't scare you tomorrow. What scares you today won't scare you tomorrow. And I used to be very, very fearful even of doing podcast interviews. And I would be up all night. I'd wake up every hour, making sure my alarm was set. What am I going to talk about on this podcast interview? And after I'd done like 200 of them, which I've done, oh God, who even knows now, hundreds of them, it didn't scare me anymore. I could just get up and go, okay, who am I talking to today? Like 5 minutes before, great. They'd be like, do you think you've got enough stories to talk about money? I'm like, yeah, I'll pull them out of my butt. It didn't scare me at all. Not at all. Public speaking still scares me a little bit, and I can still kind of get around it a little bit. But for most things, the repetition is what's going to make it less scary for you. And sometimes we don't know until we try something, even if we're going to like it, right? And you can do things in a very low stakes way. So let's say you wanted to speak on stages and you're really scared about it. Well, one of my first events I did was with 4 people, and I was like, oh, okay, 4. And then the next one was like 12. And actually it's like fine to go and speak, for hundreds of people now, but it still does. It's never going to be one of those things that I'm like, oh, I'm so excited and pumped to go speak on stage. Oh, maybe let's not. Hey, okay, Denise, let me just coach myself on that. Maybe that will be one of those things. If you just do more of it, it won't scare you. Now, what I think is a very common fear for a lot of people at the moment, it's not so much, I don't want to speak on stage, or I'm scared about this, or what are people going to think of me? Actually, I feel there's a lot of collective fear around the global economy, uncertainty in the world. There's war happening. If you've been listening to me for a long time, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, and the whole thing that's happening there really stresses me out. Yes, it does impact us in Australia here too. And I think there's just this pervasive fear around what is going to happen, this uncertainty, what is going to happen. And I feel like it's shifted a little bit. What I noticed that a big fear about maybe 3 years ago was this real fear of being cancelled, saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, being seen as someone, who doesn't care about other people, or just says the wrong thing and offends people. And I know I went through that too, where I was just so scared of being misunderstood, offending people, making people feel less than, and getting cancelled. Like, that idea was terrifying, because it really brought up a lot of just like old high school fears of being ostracized or being kicked out of the group, real like primal kind of stuff. But I'm just seeing it now is what's happening with the economy. Am I going to be able to afford my mortgage? Am I going to be able to, feed my kids or feed my cats? But also just what's going to happen. There's a very little certainty, I think, in global economies. Like, let's just say it, right? And how's the best way to talk about this? I'm very aware that I have a lot of privilege, and so sometimes even talking about this from my place can be like, well, Denise, you've got lots of money, so that's fine for you. But I do remember when the first kind of pandemic happened and people were very uncertain, I kind of I had a little mentee bee, because I was so worried about my stuff, but also the collective. And I realized I was taking on everyone else's fears too. And so sometimes when we're feeling scared, we're feeling discombobulated, we do have to separate that out a little bit. And I feel like I'm maybe in a little bit of a better position this time around, because I've done so much work to detangle my emotions from other people's emotions, and to detangle myself from feeling responsible for everyone. I'm responsible for my community and my family, and to solve all of the problems of the world. And I felt like a flight attendant going, everything's fine. It's just a bit of turbulence. But meanwhile, I was terrified on the inside. And so now on the other side of it, I'm like, oh, okay. But the question has been for me, how can I be useful? How can I be helpful? And so I think that's something that a lot of us have to navigate in these times where we're feeling stressed, we're feeling uncertain ourselves. We want to help, we want to be leaders, we want to show up and be the best that we can be. And we're not quite sure how. And I'm in that place too. I've gone, I need to be a leader in this time. I need to reassure people. I need to help people. And yet I've given myself permission to take a beat and to go and to ask myself, what is my best use in this time? How can I best help people in a sustainable way that still helps me and my family, regulate our nervous systems? And I'm not sure either yet. Okay, so if you're in that place too of simultaneously feeling fear for yourself, but also feeling like you're not doing enough, saying enough, being enough, I hear you, and I'm right here with you too. And sometimes there's that thing, of course, put your oxygen mask on first, but it's like, it's okay for us to take a moment and to figure that out. Okay, so how do we deal with this fear, all this fear that's flying around? We're not good enough, we're not doing enough. How can I help? How can I protect myself? How can I protect others? Yes, good question. So I feel like in times like this, all our money stuff is going to come up, all of our past scarcity and fear is going to come up, and it's going to really expose us and sometimes make us feel very vulnerable. And I'm just going to say too, if you're someone who is a similar age to me and you're also going through perimenopause at this time, that can really heighten this fear that we have. Okay, so I have no solutions in this part of the podcast. I realize we probably have to go to a break now, but I think it's really helpful for everyone to know and understand that a lot of people are feeling this way. I've heard it from clients, I've heard it from peers, I've heard it from so many people. And it's okay to acknowledge that we feel fearful and we feel unsure and uncertain. Now let's go into some solutions. And this isn't from me being, I'm the expert, I know all. It's more of a discussion and some ideas. And I would also always love to hear from you about what's helping you as well. But let's go for a quick break. And I'm going to take a drink of water. I suggest you do the same because self-care is probably going to be one of our solutions. See you in a sec.
It's your time and you're ready for the next step. It's your time and you're ready for the next step. It's your time and you're totally ready for the next step. So many times we are waiting for the perfect moment, for all of the green lights or for someone else to tap us on the shoulder and say, you're ready. But it has to come from inside you, and you can declare yourself ready now. Put your hand on your heart and try it with me. It's my time and I'm ready for the next step. If you know deep in your heart, even if you're scared, that you're ready to let go of some of your money fears and finally profit from your skills and talents, it's time to get to work. Your next step is to come and join us in Money Bootcamp. You can work with me as your money mindset mentor and join our beautiful community so you can really give yourself permission to make money and change the world. Click below to find out more, but don't wait any longer. Come and join us today. We're ready for you and it's your time and you're ready for the next step.
Okay, so we acknowledge we're feeling scared and uncertain. Let's go into some solutions. Now, one solution that I think is not necessarily going to help that I've been trying recently, just in case you've been trying this as well, is retail therapy. Has anyone else tried some retail therapy recently? And I noticed this, I was like in Kmart and I was like just looking at all the kitchen organization things and I was like, yes, if I organize my pantry perfectly, then I'll feel in control and then I'll feel like I've got everything together. And it's almost like we're trying to control whatever we can control. And if we order something, it will give us some certainty and dopamine. And if we organize things and we get them in little boxes, then maybe we'll feel like we've got some control over it. I don't think it's going to help. And actually, it sometimes makes you feel even more empty and just like a fraud, right? So one of the best tips that I have at the moment is to call a friend. Now, I'm an introvert and I'm a lone wolf, and I'm a very highly independent person. And I think where I got into trouble a couple of years ago when I did have like a bit of a mentee bee is that none of my friends knew about it. And even when I talk about it now, really close friends are like, we had no idea. And part of that is because we didn't see each other and, you know, we're all in our houses and stuff like that. But I just presented such, I don't know, a together front because I was still doing interviews. And in between though, I couldn't shower, wash my hair, couldn't leave the house, was just staring into the distance. And so I noticed this recently, and I called a friend because I hadn't heard from her for a while. And I was like, hey, how are you? And I could just hear it in her voice. And she was like, I'm not good. And I was like, yeah, I can hear it. And that sounds so hard. And I'm like, I'm not going to offer you solutions. I'm not trying to, but I'm like, let's just chat every now and again. And I'm like, I'm going to check in on you and make sure you're in our group chat because it's hard. And calling a friend is such a great way to, you know, they say sharing a problem, what is it? A problem shared is a problem halved. And yes, that can be true, but you also have to be judicious in who you call sometimes. You know, when you just want to vent and that person has solutions and you don't want to hear them, or, you know, someone who's kind of a bit of a Debbie Downer and you don't need that energy right now, or someone who's like Mary Sunshine and sometimes you can't handle that energy right now either. So what I've been doing is calling friends when I'm in the car on the way to and from ballet, just checking in. Hey, how are you? Sometimes I need some support. Sometimes they need some support. I also think too, business besties are so crucial when you're trying to do something new in your business. So I met up with a friend recently and she was like, oh, can you do some coaching for me? I was like, I don't do any coaching, but I'm happy to, like, let's just have lunch and we can have a chat about it. And it was really cool because it was all stuff that she kind of knew how to do, but just having someone to be like, oh, I've tried this. Oh, that really worked. And then to be like, oh, have you done that thing? You know, a little bit of a check-in. That really helped me at the start of my business because I couldn't afford a business coach necessarily. And I was around people who were sort of starting their business at the same time as me. And for us to message each other and say, oh my God, I'm about to send out this sales page. I'm sick. Can anyone have a quick look at it? And having those external helplines outside of yourself can be so helpful because the fear can get really big in your mind, right? It can get so big. You're sitting there thinking, oh my God, if I hit publish on this blog post, I'm going to get an immediate flood of haters and I'm going to get hounded, you know, forever. And you realize then when you speak to someone who has done the thing and they're just like, oh no, that's what people do. You just hit publish on a sales page. Like, cool. Yep. We all have podcasts. Like, it's not a mystery. That stuff can feel really great. And not just at the start, but if you do then get a troll or a hater, someone that you can send like a screenshot to and go, oh my God, how funny is this? I did get, like, this is so funny, but I got my first like foot guy. I've been putting feet pictures out for like 13 years, people. Not intentionally. I just always just have bare feet in my pictures. And literally I got my first like, hot feet. And I went, oh my God. First of all, I was like, oh my God, it's taken so long. It's finally happened. But be able to screenshot that and send it to my business friends chat group and just laugh about it. You know, and my favorite trolling comment, this is the best thing I've ever gotten. Someone said, you look like the rejected Bachelor contestant who goes out first. And I was like, I see that. You know, the girl, she's always a bit quirky. Like, she was never going to get picked. She's a bit silly. Like, she's a bit wonky. That's me. Like, if I was on those shows, I would absolutely be kicked out first. And I loved that comment. Maybe 10 years ago, anyone that said anything bad, I would have just like gone, oh my God, I'm going to crumble. I'm never going to do my business again. But to be able to send it to friends and just laugh about it was so healing. So do not get through fear by yourself, but also be really judicious, as I said, about who you're sending these messages to. Because if you send it to your mum and your mum's like, well, maybe starting your business is a mistake, you know, or if your partner's like, well, maybe you should just go back to your job, like, where you didn't get trolls and haters. That's not, it's said with love, but it's not really what you need in that moment. And so always try and get your advice from people who are qualified, and I'm putting that in inverted commas, to hold space for you. either because they know what it's like, they're doing something big in their own lives, or just, there's someone who will say the right thing regardless. So that's really important. Often people ask me, how do you find those business besties? So, sometimes you need to get out of your comfort zone, go to a conference, go to like meetup events, join online business groups, make friends, and like be helpful. That's how I've always made all of my business friends. If you've got a podcast, this is a great way to meet people. Start a podcast and interview people. That's how I've met some really great people too, by being on their podcast. But yeah, just have someone that you can just send those things to. This might sound really pathetic, but I have used ChatGPT for this too. There's been times at night where I haven't been able to sleep. I felt really worried about something, and I have asked AI for advice, and it's been really helpful and like quite encouraging. And yeah, so okay, another thing you can do when you're feeling scared is to shift energy in any way you can. And I always talk about decluttering as a manifesting tool, and it can be a really great one for shifting fear too. Okay, so it could be something really mindless and meaningless. So I actually love doing laundry at the moment. I used to have someone to do all of it for me, but she moved away, and then I was like, oh, I actually really enjoy this. So I like getting my house in order now. I love doing sometimes some meaningless little things with your hands can be really great for, just sorting out things in your brain. So my friend Rebecca Gibson, she's a mental health nurse, she's a psychic, she talks about how doing Lego is very similar for your brain for meditation. And I had to sit and sort out Lego for my son. He was missing some pieces, and just being able to put my hands through it, but sorting it into colors and shapes and things like that was actually really soothing for my brain and for my nervous system, right? So that can be really great. Or, so just whatever. Or doing decluttering that is meaningful to you. So when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I might go through my phone and delete like old pictures, old screenshots. I might delete contacts out of my phone, or delete apps off my phone, or move things around on my phone so my phone looks a little bit more organized. Organizing my Dropbox, things like that. Now, this might feel like procrastination, and yes, sometimes it is, but also sometimes it's just a way to get your thoughts into some sort of order. And if you can do really, really symbolic decluttering, that can be great too. So for example, you might go, okay, I want 2 new clients. Go and declutter like old client files, like make space energetically for those people to come in. When I was doing dating coaching like millions of years ago, I would say to people, go and declutter half of the wardrobe, go and declutter the bedside drawer on the other side of your bed, because you're making space for something new to come in. And then I always say to money boot campers as well, when in doubt, shave your legs, or when in doubt, wash your hair. Do something to kind of shift that energy, and it gives you that little boost. Okay, so the other thing that I really love is EFT, emotional freedom technique. I started doing this in my early 20s. I started working at this consultancy, and the receptionist, Claire, who was an actress and photographer, she was like, have you ever heard of this thing called EFT? Do you want to borrow my DVDs to learn how to do it? And obviously now you can just learn it on YouTube, but it's acupressure on your body. You tap on different points of your face. You might think, oh, cool, everyone knows this, but how often do you do things like that? And before I go on stage, you'll always see me back there, and I'm going, even though I have these nerves, even though I feel really scared, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though, I'm worried I'm not going to have anything to say, even though my heart's beating really fast, even though my mouth feels really dry, and I just say the things out loud that I'm scared about, and it really helps to break the pattern, and it really helps you to acknowledge it. Because when you're just pushing the fear down and you're going, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, which is what happened to me, right? And then it has to come out somewhere. And for me, it came out in just absolutely paralyzing depression and anxiety. And it's because I was pretending to everyone that everything was okay, and I was trying to hold it for everyone. And so the more that you can deal with the yucky feelings, you can acknowledge that you're not feeling great, or you just say it out loud what you're scared about. Like even though I'll get trolls and haters, even though nobody will like what I have to do, even though I'll make a fool of myself. And you might think, why am I saying this bad stuff? Like, aren't I manifesting it by saying it? No, you are, you're acknowledging it because it's all there underneath anyway. You're just stirring up, acknowledging it so it can dissipate. And none of those things cure your fear forever, because sometimes it's the acknowledgement that I am human, I completely love and accept myself, even though I'm scared. It's recognizing your humanity and giving yourself permission to love yourself anyway. In my first book, Lucky Bitch, I say, get your boobs on board. And it's just like, get every part of your body, every cell of your being to be like, I like you. You're okay. We like you. We approve of you. You can do Louise Hay work, like mirror work, where she would literally say to people, hold up a mirror and look in your own eyes and say, I love you. I approve of you. You're okay. I like you. Whatever it is, you could, if saying I love you feels too hard, you can just be like, I tolerate you. I like you. You can work your way up. And then it's like, I adore you. Actually, it was so funny on the weekend. My little one, Piper, who's just classic. She's just so funny. She just looked at me lovingly and she was like, I just adore. And then she had this cup in her hand. She goes, this cup. And I was like, oh, thanks, Piper. I thought you were going to say you adore me. And she was like, I adore this cup. And I just think it's, I adore you would be a wonderful thing to say. You can put love notes to yourself everywhere around your house. I adore you. I love you. You could write, I approve of you on your mirror. Those things, they compound over time and they really help you to kind of crowd out that fear. I can't even remember who said it, but it was like your brain doesn't understand the difference between excitement and fear. And so sometimes I'll sit and just try and rehearse and go, okay, I'm not feeling fear, I'm feeling excitement. And back when I was a teenager and I picked up my first couple of personal development books, I saw this quote and it said, fear gives you the energy to do your best in a new situation. And it wasn't very catchy, which I love catchy affirmations, but it really helped me because I could transmute that. I could kind of redefine these feelings that I was having all throughout my body, which were flooding me, to go, no, this is just giving me adrenaline. It's giving me energy to do my best because I care. That's it. It's helping me to do my best in this situation. Write some love notes to yourself. Do some self-care. Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm feeling anxious because I didn't eat any food today. I didn't drink any water. I need to take some magnesium, or whatever it is that's going to make you feel a little bit better. And then some self-care, you might think, oh, it's really superficial. But when I was really terrified about making videos at the start of my business, I got a blow dry every Monday. And I got a package deal. They weren't very expensive, but I would go and get a blow dry, and then I would have the confidence to do 5 videos in a row. And then I'd be like, oh my God, I've just done a month's worth of videos for my blog. And sometimes we do need to trick ourselves a little bit. And that's why when I do speaking gigs, I always get professional hair and makeup done now, because I know I just don't want any excuse to go, oh my God, I couldn't get my eyeliner right today. This is going to be a disaster. I feel so bad. And I would be totally fine. It's not a vanity thing for me, but it's just that little bit of confidence, a little bit of fake it till you make it. And I think because I grew up as a dancer as well and as a performer, putting on your hair, putting on your makeup, putting on your costume was well, now I'm in that character. And so sometimes for me, you might see me at a conference and think, wow, she's so confident. And it's because I'm in the Denise Lucky Bee character. It's not fake, but all of those things just helped me get into that space where I can be a little bit more confident. So whatever it is for you, it might be, oh, when I get my nails done, I feel like $1 million. When I wear a particular color, when I wear this peachy kind of color, I feel confident. I feel pretty. I feel really good. And sometimes it's not, you don't even need to go necessarily spend money on that, but it could be just taking that extra bit of time to do your hair or do your makeup or do something that makes you feel good, For Mark, it's exercise. If he exercises, he feels good. The last tip that really helps me is to reconnect to your purpose and your why. Because like I said at the start, sometimes you're scared of things and it's a sign that you're not meant to do it. Sometimes reconnecting to your why helps you to go, why am I doing that? And do I need to do it? And that gives you a chance to let things go, but it also helps you to reconnect and redouble down on that. So I know my purpose here is to break the cycle. That's my first purpose, is to break the cycle for myself and my family. A couple of years ago, it was flipped around with my wider purpose to the world, which was to help people, but especially women, to break cycles and to make money and change the world. But I realized that was making the fear worse, right? Because then I'm responsible for everyone. So now I realize it's like my family first, my nervous system first, breaking the cycle for myself and my children. And then it's using that extra energy to help other people change their worlds. And hopefully that will make a bigger impact. So remember, when you're feeling fear, acknowledge it. It's really normal. It's really natural. Everyone feels it. Have excitement a little bit bigger than your fear. So get really excited about your goal or what you're trying to achieve. Maybe get excited about a reward. Really be gentle with yourself. Do some decluttering, call a friend, and just give yourself permission to be human. That is the best thing. I feel the fear and it's totally okay. Yeah, and you know what? I hope it's helped just hearing that I still feel fear, because we just think we're so hard on ourselves. We think everyone else is allowed to be flawed, but I have to be perfect. And that's not true. Okay, so it's totally okay to have that fear. All right, let's go for one final break, and then I've got one final thought for you after this.
So I have done the money boot camp, and I love there's so many things I could share, but one of the things I loved is the incremental upgrades, and the idea that you start slow with the upgrades and it feels like it's going really slowly, and then all of a sudden it'll just be massive. And I just went, oh, okay, well, all right, let me do it. So the first thing I did was I got sunglasses, which I had a really beautiful pair of sunglasses like 8 years ago. And then one day I sat on them and I was like, that's it. Like, you're never getting any good sunglasses again. You don't deserve it because you just sat on this, and that's it. You're too responsible for it. So then I always had these crappy sunglasses, but I love sunglasses. So I got these sunglasses and I got 2 pairs. And actually the less expensive pair was an Anchor that I started having, cause they're like rose gold and they just like make me feel like hot and like I got my shit together. And, I've got this selfie of myself where every time I'm feeling a bit like wobbly, I'll look at that and be like, yeah, okay. So, I upgraded that and like just did the course, and then literally within probably 6 to 12 months at the very most, I think it was less than that, we bought the apartment next door. We have done an entire renovation of the whole place within a year, and it was like it started so small and then it just went like these massive opportunities came up that would never have been there before. So that's been incredible, and really just also like as a female, it never occurred to me that it's not a common thing to be like not only a breadwinner, but like running a company. And I was just like, oh, this is just what you do. And then just realizing there are so many things that you face that are not only you, like whether it be the tax thing or whether it be, oh, I can't make more money than like the male figures in my family, and like, just doing all that work to like see what's in the way, the negative consequences, has made a really big difference with that. So yeah.
Okay, so remember there was that book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. And I remember seeing that book and just being like, okay, feel the fear and do it anyway. And it was a breakthrough moment for sure, of just acknowledging that there is fear. But there was something that happened a couple of years ago that really helped me even more than that. And I was at an Ali Brown conference, and she was talking about, being a millionaire and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I was 29. I was like, oh, maybe I can be a millionaire by 35 like Ali. And I could just feel the fear of it just permeating through my whole body. And I was too scared to ask a question, too scared to do anything. But on the way down to the party at the conference, I was in an elevator with her. Like, she just came into the elevator, and I was like, and I thought, it's now or never, ask the question. And so I said, oh, Ali, I'm so inspired by this conference, but I'm so scared. And it's just debilitating. Like, I'm so scared. Can you tell me, when does the fear go away? And what I was hoping that she was going to say was, oh, well, when I got to this particular point, when I got to this particular amount of money, all the fear went away. And instead, she looked me dead in the eye and she said, never. The fear never goes away. And then the doors opened and we went out to the party, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I went, oh, and that's when I started to say to people, absence of fear is not the goal, because you're always going to have some measure of fear, and that's okay. And your job is just to not to push it down, not to overcome it. It's like, just be gentle with yourself. You don't have to do everything, and you just need to have a little bit of more excitement than your fear, only for really a couple of hours a day sometimes to make the difference, right? Some of the things we're scared about doesn't take that long. So we don't have to overcome our fear 24/7, just a few tiny little bits, and make those little baby steps. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments for this episode. What's something that you're really scared about? What's something that you're terrified about? And as you're typing it out, you'll realize that that's a normal thing that some people do, and it's totally okay. And also sometimes you'll go, yeah, no wonder I'm scared about it. No one in my family's ever tried to do this before. I've never seen anyone do this before. And yes, it is scary putting yourself out there. That's okay. So I'd love to hear that. And of course, if you've got any tips on how you overcome fear, little specific things that you might do as well. But I hope today's episode has been helpful for you to go out and do the thing. Use the motivation that you've gotten from today. Use that momentum to go and do one little thing, just one little thing. And usually that's enough, because some people do nothing ever. Okay, I love you. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I'll see you next week on another episode of Chill and Prosper. Well, I didn't even say it right. Another episode of Chill and Prosper. See, I make mistakes all the time too, and nothing bad happens. All right, bye.
Start your business for the freedom of time. Now you're tired of the hustle and grind. There's gotta be a better way. It's time to listen to Chill and Prosper. Welcome to Chill and Prosper. You're ready to chill and prosper with Denise Duffield-Thomas.